Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. Jack and I, once again, joined by Anya.
Hiya.
And we are tackling Chapter 4, Loyalty of Until Dawn. So one thing to note as well is that the last one was quite a short chapter, half an hour. This one's even shorter. I think it might be the shortest chapter of the lot. But nonetheless, we'll tackle them in order. So it starts off with Mike running after Jess after the tragic loss of Jess, potentially getting dragged through the window. So yeah, I'll just start with yourself, Anya. What did you do when you were Mike and you were chasing after Jess through the snow?
Okay, so for the most part, I was playing through my first time pretty much blind, but I did know, like, up to this point, like, what was happening, so I knew you had to do, like, quick time events, and I had to, like, pause for, like, a whole day, because I was like, I'm gonna get her killed, and I know you have to be fast, and I'm really bad with quick time events, because this is the first time I'm looking at a PS4 controller. So I just tried to be as fast as possible. I was really tense, trying not to mess anything up. So I did end up saving her, which made me very happy. But then she just fucking dropped down to the core of the earth, to who knows where, so then I didn't have her anymore. Not as happy about that. But yeah, I ended up with her nice and okay, jaw intact.
Yeah, I think if you're a veteran at the game, that's the telltale thing, right? Whether her jaw's still on is whether she did it or not. But when you first play it, you don't know, and it is a really traumatic scene when you do all this hard work to get to her. And I think as well, on a blind playthrough, such as the one I had, it's very believable when you fuck up some of the QuickTime events, but you succeed others. So you're very unsure whether you made it or not, because you don't know if you need 100% or like 95%. And I like messed a few up, and I don't know how many you need to actually kill her. But for me, it was quite like I didn't get all of them, and I was just really scared for her.
Yeah, me neither, because I know I messed up a couple, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Jack, how did you get on with this scene?
Yeah, so I was risking the shortcuts as well and doing all the quick time events. I've got to say, like, I bet it's absolutely hilarious when you're doing a playthrough where you want to get everyone killed, purposely screwing up these quick time events and having Mike constantly trip over.
Stop! I did that exact thing in my Kill Everyone playthrough, and it was so funny to just watch him eat shit over and over.
Oh god! And the thing is as well, like this particular bit, since I've been watching it again, he's constantly screwing up Jessica. It reminded me of Heavy Rain, where like Ethan, the dad at the beginning,
Sean!
Jason!
Yeah. So honestly, I was watching this back and it was making me laugh. There's other bits as well, like I think there's this bit you get to a cliff and it's like you can climb down or jump down. And it's like a sheer drop, and if you like choose to come down, he's jumping down. His back would be in absolute pieces, but like, it's just a minor quibble that I'll sort of overlook.
He just flops there.
Yeah, so there's sort of this bit as well. He's looking down like the scope of like a gun, and he's like aiming it at her. Like he's not aiming it at like the thing that's potentially dragging her to her death. It is a good scene. Like when I first played it, you know, they do really well to like drive up the tension because, of course, like naturally your first playthrough is probably going to be the one where you want to save everyone, right?
Yeah, that's it. Another thing as well with that fail video you mentioned, where if you mess up deliberately, it's so funny to see when like there's a massive tree branch and he's got like 10 meters where he's seeing it, and you still don't press the button, and it's like you're deliberately trying to get Jess killed. You're not even trying at this point. It's just like he wants to get back with Emily or something, so he's like, well, no one's gonna see me out here in the woods. I'll pretend I'm trying.
Yeah, and like when you get to that little shack bit, or is it like it's like the mine shaft actually, isn't it? And you get in there and you've got this light, and she's like, Mike, help me, and he's screaming out, "I'm coming," and like all I'm doing on the controller is walking around in circle, exploring the most unnecessary corners of the room, just like delaying everything.
Picking up a totem, like,
yeah.
hold on, babe, I'm on my way.
Right.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, because I was really casual about that bit as well. I could see the totem gleam, and it's just funny because it's like I'm yelling like Jessica, and then I'm just like, yeah, let's casually pick this totem up, and then I'm going back to yelling Jessica. It's just like the inconsistencies are just wild.
Oh, I said it was like an urgent matter, but it's just like, here's this collectible.
Yeah, like that's it, because
That's
you
all.
want to sort of explore, don't you? You want to explore these environments and get all the clues, but like you sort of at the same time you're a little bit pushed to make sure that Jessica stays alive.
Yeah, that's literally it. But yeah, what a scene though. I think like Jess kind of grew into one of my favorite characters, and at this point I was just absolutely gutted for her. Like I say, I actually thought it's because of my choices. And I thought maybe it's because I took too long and I decided to look up at Totem where I was like petting a wolf in it. I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that. So we move on to the scene of Chris where he's walking outside and he's chasing after Ashley. You go to the first real choice for Chris, actually. So this is the moment where you see Josh and Ashley strung up and there's a giant buzzsaw. And it's like an absolute Saw game here, really, where you have to make the choice between do you kill Ashley or do you kill Josh? Jack, we'll start with you. Who did you try to kill?
I tried to kill Josh. I remember playing this bit and thinking, what have I done? Like, I've obviously fucked up because I've got a situation where one of them is going to die, so I'm not going to have, everyone surviving the playthrough. Obviously, not knowing the twist that was to come. But yeah, I suppose I went for the majority vote, which was, I knew that sort of Chris had this crush on Ashley and vice versa. So I was like, oh, sorry, Josh, but it's going to have to be you.
Yeah, how about you, Anya?
I actually picked to save Josh at this point. Because, like I said before, I had Ashley as, like, my least favorite at this time. And I also knew, like, yeah, Chris has a crush on her, but Josh is, like, his best friend. Bros before hoes. And then I thought, like, I, like, misheard or something, like, who to point it to. Like, oh, that actually who you want to save is who you're gonna kill. So I was like, wait a second, this don't add up. I thought I messed up or something, because I knew I, like, wanted to save Josh. So it got me good there. It pranked me.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually fell for it as well. So like I wanted to save Ashley, and then I was like, okay, I've generally like it sucks that someone had to die here, because I was aiming for a perfect playthrough where all 8 survive, and I've just sawed someone in half within like the very early chapters, and I was really gutted at myself. And I remember my brother played this game before me, and I spoke to him about it, and he fooled me really well. I kind of said to him that I got someone killed, I'm pretty annoyed about it. And then he was like, oh, wait, you got Josh killed? For real? And what? How do you manage that? And I was like, I don't know, I just like, and he really tricked me. And he convinced me that it's because I wasn't paying attention to the scenes with Dr.Hill. He was like, yeah, did you not listen to Dr.Hill, like what you needed to do? And I was like, no. And like, I just absolutely got tricked. And like, I'm actually glad my brother did that, because it somewhat enhanced my experience, because I generally at this point was thinking that I could have stopped it, even though you can't. And yeah, Luke, hats off to you, mate. Bastard.
May I say as well was that Josh's dad's movie props are very, very good. Because you'd watch that, wouldn't you? And you'd be like, yeah, he's been cut in half. Like that's not a dummy. He's been cut in half.
Yeah, no, it's actually like really clever, like the way his intestines hang out, and it's just like it's really gruesome, and you believe it. And there's the point as well where you realise that this clue that's quite well hidden in the lodge, that Josh's dad's a film director, and there's like a little bit of a breadcrumb for you there, so you can work it out. But I never did, and I really like that. It's like really difficult to find all the clues, but if you do, you really can piece bits together. But it's really tricky to do it on your first blind playthrough. But yeah, I just wanted to mention something. So we'll see throughout this game that, Josh, who, as we know, because we told you, spoiler alert, before, is the mystery man. So he consistently targets Chris throughout these trials. Now, do you guys think this is really weird as well, since he's targeting the group who got his sisters killed? That he's targeting the one man who was passed out, who didn't really have a role to play in the prank other than Sam, maybe. I don't know. It just felt really weird that the one person he was targeting was Chris, when the obvious candidate would probably be Mike. Jack, what did you think of this?
I did think this. However, I said in an earlier episode that Josh, he gave that little line, didn't he? He said, I think all they need is a traumatic event for Chris and Ashley to bond. Maybe you can lean into that a little bit as a reason why. I don't know, it could be a weak theory, but that's all I can really roll with, because otherwise it really doesn't make sense. And even like you said before, in fact, she goes after Sam later on. Like, all the characters, I feel like Josh had probably the best rapport with Chris and Sam. So it really doesn't make sense if, it wasn't for the reason that I said before.
Yeah, no, really good points, mate. How about yourself, Anya?
I had a feeling that he might have wanted to do something to fuck with Mike and Jess, and that's why he sent them to the cabin. He might have had something there. He just obviously couldn't anticipate everything that was going to happen. Probably didn't anticipate that Matt and Emily were going to go off to the fire tower. And I don't know, I have this idea, or I've also read, people think too, that because Josh is also passed out alongside Chris in the beginning, he's probably kind of blaming himself for not doing anything, kind of self-projecting onto Chris, just couldn't do anything, man. And I feel really bad that I couldn't do anything, so here's the blame on you. But also I do see the Chris and Ashley just need a traumatic experience, because he wants his bro to get the girl.
Yeah, I completely understand that, and those are very good points. Him trying to play the Cupid card, helping his best mate out, and it's Josh's weird way of getting them together. But I don't know, it almost still seems really far-fetched to me that if my siblings got, killed because of a prank, and I was passed out with someone else, that I would spend a whole year planning this event to target that guy opposite me. It just seems really weird to me. I don't know.
His best friend too.
Yeah, exactly.
Ashley was involved too, but very minimally compared to Emily and Jess. So I assume he just had something planned to mess with all of them, but just everything went off the rails and he just kind of had to work with what he had, the people who actually stayed at the lodge. Plus I guess it, makes it more even and fair. Obviously if he wasn't targeting them, then it'd be a little obvious who it was, what the motive is here. But
yeah, no, I completely agree. Another thing as well is he almost got really fortunate, and I don't know if this is another flaw, that I get he sent Jess and Mike to the external lodge, but what if Sam didn't want a bath, and what if Emily and Matt didn't forget their bags and have to go down? If they were still there, then could Josh even do this plan with 3 other people there, where he has to put a mask on and then drag people outside? Because I don't know, it all seems like it tied perfectly well together for him. And it almost does seem like this story is very far-fetched. Maybe in the comments or whatever you can prove me wrong, maybe I'm missing something. But I don't know, just a lot of this whole angle with Josh at the start of the game, a lot of elements felt very far-fetched to me, almost unrealistic. And I don't know if you felt the same there, Jack.
You know what, yeah, the more you sort of dive deep into it, it's like when you look at films, isn't it? I think back to the Joker in The Dark Knight, who had a plan to get caught, and then a plan. It's just sort of, the more you look into it, I think it's you just got to let it wash over you. The more you look into it, you're gonna find these things, and you just sort of have to accept it and move on.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially in the early stages, like we said with Jess's cabin, where you've got the stranger and Wendigos out there, and it's almost quite flawed. It's almost like they're just trying to create a horror ambience really for when you're playing the game. And it's almost like they go for too much style over substance in the earlier stages, and they almost neglect, the actual reveals towards the end. Like, I don't know if that is a fair or unfair assumption, but that's my gatherings anyway. Still doesn't take away from the fact that this is a really beautiful game. But yeah, you guys good to move on to the last bit with Dr. Hill? Yeah, so I mean, there's not much to report here, so there's no sort of psychology test. It's just the fact that Dr. Hill goes really weird. I don't know what you guys thought about this scene. Anya, what were your reactions to this point with these therapy sessions that we were getting?
Oh yeah, is it going fine? Are things going the way you hoped? And I was like, no, because at this point, thought I killed Josh on accident, and then I thought I lost Jess, even though she was alive, but then she just kind of vanishes to who knows where for the rest of the game. So I was just like, I think I just lost 2 people, so it's not going good. But then he's getting all angry, do you think they're getting what they deserve? I'm like, no. But you can't even respond to that. It's just, what do you want? Who are you? I wanted to know who he was.
Yeah, so and then he pulls the teleportation card out on us. He's just looking out the window, and then out of nowhere, his mug's right in front of your face. mate, leave me alone. And I'm sorry to say, but he's got to be the worst therapist ever. You approach this guy, probably pay good money to, unleash your problems. And he's there, slamming the table.
28 samples!
Teleporting at you. I'm like, what am I paying for, honestly?
Did you think that he was real, or didn't exist?
I personally said that he was real. I went with the real angle. How about you, Jack?
I believe at the time that I thought he wasn't real. And I suppose, obviously I didn't know the whole context, because what I'd say about this particular scene is that, because you know how you guys were just saying he's really this really edgy therapist and stuff, but I think what you start to find out, obviously with context, is that this isn't real, and this is a slow decaying of Josh's mental state. Because if you think at this point in the game, he is the psycho, he's not the Josh that we knew from the start of the game, and that's represented in the boarded up windows. You've got the clown mask on the thing, the gore on the desk, or obviously it depends on the choices you made. So I did think that he wasn't real, but I didn't know for that particular reason, because obviously I hadn't completed the game and didn't know what was what.
Yeah, no, really good comments there, actually. One thing I wanted to mention as well, he mentions the line, oh yeah, this game that you're playing. And I thought this was just genius, because at the time you're thinking, he's talking to you, he's breaking the 4th wall, he's talking to you as the gamer. But as we all know, the twist reveals that you're actually Josh, and this is an imagination of your actual real therapist. And when he's saying the game you're playing, it's the game that Josh is creating for his friends here. And when you look back at that, I don't know about you, but I just thought that's just a fantastic bit of writing there.
Yeah, and another reason why he trumps the curator for me. I just think the way he's integrated into the story, I think the way he's written, I think it's brilliant. Not to say that the curator's bad, or because he's not. I like the curator as well, the whole British vibe that's going on, but for me, Dr. Hill edges it.
And I think that's probably a benefit of the fact that they spent ages writing Until Dawn, and it is a 12-hour game, isn't it? While you get through these Dark Picture anthologies within maybe an hour best part. So the curator almost falls flat in that sense, that he doesn't really get the depth, and because he's covering multiple stories, he doesn't almost get a deep dive or a connection to them. He's just simply almost like a narrator, really. He's not an integral part of the story, as Dr. Hill eventually, you do learn he does become in the game. But yeah, brilliant. Any other comments, guys?
I think the only thing that I forgot to mention ages ago is now with Jess gone pretty much until chapter 9, or just completely gone, I really do wish that at least chapter 2 and 3 the walk to the cabin, we were playing her. And then you could decide for yourself if you want to get with Mike or not.
Oh, good point.
Because she and Josh and Matt are lacking in their gameplay amount, and with Josh it makes sense. But with Jess, like, there's no reason to not have more time playing her when she actually was there.
Yeah, because am I right in thinking the only scene you play her as, up until this point, is the snowball scene?
Yeah, or like when Chris and Sam come up and she's just like, all right, let me open the door for you, and then that's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, that is actually a really interesting point. That would be really fascinating to see what would happen if you played as Jess on the walk up to the lodge. And it would be interesting as well if this game had a version such as the curator's cut, where maybe there's an alternate version where you play as Jess walking up. That would be a really interesting vision for me.
Because now we're up where we last see Mike. He's up at the sanatorium, and we know that we spend a million years over there. So
join us next time, guys, while we talk about Anya's favorite chapter with her favorite character, Mike. But yeah, thank you very much for joining, guys. As always, joined by Jack and Anya for another deep dive into Until Dawn. Feel free to leave a comment, subscribe, all that brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.